Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 97 Republic YouTube channel, where I'll be reacting to news and live events mostly pertaining to the UFC and European football. But I'll also keep you up to date with regards to other sporting codes. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ensuring that you don't skip a beat, click the notification bell as I guarantee it'll notify you. Alright? Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody is doing well. In all honesty, if your team is in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, I feel like you have no reason not to be having a good day. Now, apart from obviously the horrific things that are happening in California, if you are a normal citizen in a normal situation and your team won this wildcard weekend, or your team is in the divisional round of the playoffs, I feel like the onus should be on you to be having a good day. Now, before reacting to the wildcard weekend, I do have a question for the audience, and afterwards I do have a few takes with regards to the NFC and AFC, and also the Mike McCarthy situation in Dallas. So, first of all, the question that I got asked by one of my friends is, would you rather have your team be 6-11, I missed the playoffs, but improve their pick in the next draft, or have that same team go 11-6, reach the playoffs, but then lose in the wildcard weekend? And my answer was, I'd rather have my team make the playoffs, because it feels like that's what great organizations do. Annually, great organizations make the playoffs, right? They have consistency, and that's how they solidify themselves as being a great organization. Now, if you are a fan of either the Bears or the Raiders or the Jaguars or the Jets or the Giants, I think I know what your answer would be. I think I could take an educated guess. I think most fans of these respective organizations would probably sell their uncle to be able to reach the playoffs. And they would end up probably selling their aunt as well just to win a playoff game. But still would love to hear your opinion on the matter. Now, with regards to the wildcard weekend, obviously started off with the Texans destroying the Chargers. But all in all, if you reflect on the Chargers season, I'd say massive success. Right? There's no way anyone would have predicted last year, if they were a Chargers fan, who went 5-12, that Jim Harbaugh would be their coach and then take them to the playoffs, having an 11-6 record. So I think the future is surely looking bright for the Chargers, and I think honestly they can be happy with their season. Now, the same does not apply to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got absolutely destroyed by the Baltimore Ravens. And honestly, my opinion is that the Steelers wouldn't have been able to stop the Ravens on that night, even if they had a barricade in front of them. Right? Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry were not to be denied at all. Then we moved on to Buffalo, absolutely destroying the Denver Broncos as well. Sure, they had an early scare with Bo Nix driving down the field, throwing for a touchdown in the opening drive. But then Buffalo went on to score 31 unanswered points. And yeah. But the same applies to the Broncos as well. If you asked any Bronco fan last season, would you take it if next season Sean Payton and your rookie quarterback makes it to the playoffs and goes 10-7? Everyone would say yes, especially having a lot of dead cap money as well. So all in all, Chargers fans, Broncos fans, I think they're quite happy with how the season played out. And then we moved on to the NFC, where Jordan Love did a Justin Herbert impression, a bit too many Justin Herbert impressions, and ended up throwing the game away. And it felt like that Philly was there for the taking. And then the only thing Philly ended up taking was a knee at the end of the game and running out the clock. But yeah, all in all, Philly coasted by the Packers in a game that didn't feel close at any point of it. Then we had Jaden Daniels going down to Tampa, the equivalent of basically Jaden Daniels going down to the casino. A random person approaching him, giving him $1 million and saying, you can do it with it whatever you want. And then Jaden basically quadrupling his money and cashing out and going to Detroit. That's basically what happened. The Commanders went into Tampa Bay with absolutely nothing to lose, playing with house money. Dan Quinn, incredible performance. Cliff Kingsbury, incredible performance. Jaden Daniels, incredible performance. And Jaden just basically putting a potential exclamation mark on a season that Washington Commanders fans has probably been yearning for about 20 odd years. So all in all, great display by Jaden, great display by Dan Quinn and his staff. But then we moved on to the final game of the Wildcard weekend, where the Vikings were scheduled to face the LA Rams, obviously in Los Angeles. But because of the horrible things and the wildfires in California, the game got moved to Arizona. So, neutral venue, Kevin O'Connell, the apprentice, taking on Sean McVay, the master, and in the end of the night, ended up calling him the father. Sean McVay outcoached and outclassed Kevin O'Connell almost in every second of that game, and it wasn't even close. It felt like Kevin O'Connell got absolutely destroyed, schematically, game plan wise, and yeah, I mean Sean McVay, I think, has solidified himself as being a top 7, probably top 6 coach in the NFL. Right, been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and I'm not saying this should be an indictment, and this will be an indictment on Kevin O'Connell's coaching career thus far, but if we look at it, if we reflect on Kevin O'Connell's coaching career at Minnesota, so he's had a 13-4 season, right? Great. But then what happened? Hosted New York Giants in a playoff game, lost to future Hall of Famer Danny Dimes and Brian Daboll. Right? Then in the second biggest coaching, well, let's say third biggest coaching game of his career, they faced the Lions last week. A vulnerable, susceptible Lions team whose defense, they could have had people working at Starbucks on that defense, and you get absolutely blasted. Got your doors run over. And then this week, where you face an LA Rams team away from home, the Rams being away from home, in a neutral venue that probably has more Vikings fans than Rams fans, and you absolutely whiff and somewhat embarrass yourself. So honestly, all in all, I think this has to do with Kevin O'Connell as much as Sam Darnold, right? Seeing your quarterback get sacked 6 times in the first half and then still calling a pass and another pass. Sam Darnold drops back, sacked. Sam Darnold drops back, picked off. Sam Darnold drops back, blitzed. Sam Darnold drops back, pressured. Run the ball. Cam Akers averaged 7.5 yards per carry. Just run the ball. It's not that complicated. Now sure, there are probably reasons why he's earning $7 million a year, but you'd think someone that is schematically as smart as Kevin O'Connell, who comes from the same coaching tree, well, the Sean McVay coaching tree, so the blueprint is there. We saw Kyron Williams running roughshod. Just follow that example. Don't overthink it. But yeah, that was basically the end of the wildcard weekend. Now, with regards to my take, I started watching the NFL about 5 years ago. Religiously watching it 5 years ago. Now, sure, when I was in high school, I saw a lot of NFL clips. Obviously, I knew who Tom Brady was, knew who Drew Brees was, Peyton Manning, a lot of running backs, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell. but religiously started watching it 5 years ago, and obviously followed the discourse around it, followed all of the talk shows from Colin Cowherd to Nick Wright to Rex Ryan to name Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, all of them. And I saw that the league transitioned from a defensive league, which it was back in the day because there was a lot of rough hitting, not as much targeting calls, if any, and basically transitioning into a more safer offensive league. And since it started happening, which I don't know when the exact timing of it was, it felt like the AFC and the NFC took two different paths with regards to how they would set up their roster. Where it felt like the AFC pivoted towards having a really good to great quarterback, where the NFC pivoted towards having a really good to great to really good team and roster. And it felt like all of the great superhuman Superman quarterbacks are in the AFC, where all of the great teams are in the NFC. And sure, the Ravens have 9 Pro Bowlers this year, but if you went to John Harbaugh and you told him, listen, you can take Lamar Jackson and you can put yourself and Lamar in any situation in football, only pertaining to the team itself, I think John would pick Philly. I think Philly is match like position for position better than the Ravens are. And I felt like the Lions, it's the same thing. If the Lions didn't have all of these injuries, and if the defense wasn't completely decimated with injuries, same scenario. And yeah, it felt like the AFC picked their quarterback and they built their team around the quarterback, where the NFC picked their team and they built their team and picked their quarterback with regards to the philosophy of the team and how that quarterback would fit into the team. Whereas in the AFC, it felt like how would the team fit into the quarterback? And it's the same with Sean McDermott and Josh Allen. You don't think Sean McDermott would want Josh Allen and the entire Lions team, apart from the defense, but that's due to injuries, but on offense, have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, Montgomery, and Gibbs? You don't think Harbaugh would have picked Lamar with Saquon, Goddard, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Philly's O-line, Lions O-line? And yeah, in the 5 past Super Bowls that I've watched, it felt like the better decision and the better road that was taken was by the AFC. Because last year, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, better coach, better quarterback, but the Niners had the better team. Kansas City won. Year before that, exact same scenario. Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia, lost with a better team to Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, better quarterback, better coach. And the year before that, with Cincinnati and with the Rams, now sure, you can argue that Matt Stafford's probably the only quarterback inside of the NFC that is potentially a Superman or a superhero quarterback. So let's say that the quarterbacks were equal, the Rams had the better team. And that felt like it was the anomaly. So yeah, that's just my take. It'd be interesting to know how did it happen? How did the AFC manage to get all of these superhero quarterbacks and the NFC builds all of these incredible rosters? Because I know Howie is probably the best GM in the league, but you'd think with such a dominant team from offense to defense that they would have, they made the Super Bowl last year, but I just thought that it would make more sense for them to be way more dominant. So yeah, and I know they're in the middle of a Chiefs dynasty, but still. Now, with regards to Mike McCarthy, I saw Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones parted ways, and it is alleged, I'm not sure, that Mike basically got offered a 1-year contract extension. Now, however you see it, it doesn't make sense for either party. Now, if you're Jerry Jones, why would you sign someone to a 1-year deal if you don't believe in him And if you believe in him, you wouldn't sign him to only a 1-year deal. It's like any CEO or any owner of a company. There's no way you would hire someone if you thought they were inadequate. But if you thought they were adequate and you knew for a fact that they were adequate, you would potentially sign them longer and have them taken care of a little bit better. And with regards to Mike, there's no way that would make sense for Mike to accept a 1-year contract extension, a 1-year deal, because you have to basically walk on eggshells. You have to look over your shoulder constantly, because it doesn't matter how the team performs, doesn't matter how the quarterback performs, you will receive all of the scrutiny. You will be the reason behind why the Cowboys suck, even though you are undermanned, you're understaffed, your roster isn't that good because of the GM probably not making the best choices, not signing a running back because you don't have the money, but then you end up overspending for Dak. It just makes sense on both accounts that this wouldn't have happened, and that Mike wouldn't have taken this deal. Now, if you're Mike McCarthy is basically known as a culture setter, right? A guy that goes into an organization and establishes some sort of culture, and mostly a winning culture. So I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of teams that will be able to hire Mike McCarthy and have him come to that organization and establish some sort of culture. The Bears, they're in dire need of having a culture. The Raiders, same thing. The Jets, same thing. So yeah, I think there is a demand for Mike McCarthy, and I don't think Jerry has a lot of leverage with regards to who he is going to appoint as the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Where's Jerry gonna go? Who's he gonna appoint the next head coach? Dion? Well, Dion's probably not leaving Colorado. If he is, you think Dion would go to the Cowboys, coach Dak, see his son potentially go to either New York or Las Vegas, maybe the Jets? I just can't see it happening. I can't see Dion going to the Cowboys and coaching and having to deal with a GM like Jerry. Not sure if someone had to, it'd probably be Dion. If somebody was comfortable in that environment, it would probably be Dion. And Jerry is renowned for having this obsession of having the Cowboys be the constant talk of media within America. So it does make sense. But I just, from Dion's perspective, why would he want to do that? It doesn't feel like it's the best set up organization. It feels like you have a lot to deal with, and there's not a lot of upside towards this. And if not Dion, then what? Bill Belichick? Is Jerry gonna convince Bill to leave UNC? Bill basically just going to UNC press and saying, hey, listen, so I gave you a month and a half of dedication. I gave you a foundation on which you can build. I'm out. I'm gonna go coach the Cowboys. I can't see it happening. I just can't see it happening. Bill wants to be in charge. Bill wants to have the keys to the car and drive it as fast as he wants. Bill wants to be the head coach and the general manager. He doesn't want to take orders. He wants to hand them out, and he wants to be in full control of the organization. So Jerry would basically have to stand down as the general manager, still be the owner, but just doesn't have a say in the draft. And there's no way that is happening either. So honestly, where's Jerry gonna look next? Ben Johnson, great offensive coordinator, great scheme, first time head coach, that might be a whiff. Cliff Kingsbury, we know how Cliff's first reign as a head coach panned out in Arizona. That might be a whiff. Mike Vrabel, he's going to the Patriots, already at the Patriots. Rex Ryan's probably gonna go to the Jets. So I don't know, what's Jerry gonna do? It just feels like the Dallas Cowboys, they're doing Dallas Cowboys things.